For millennia, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood as a silent testament to a forgotten age, its colossal form piercing the desert sky. It's so immense, so perfectly constructed, that many have found it easier to believe it was the work of extraterrestrial visitors or a lost, hyper-advanced civilization. But the truth, as it often is far more incredible. The story of who built the pyramids isn't about aliens, it's about human ingenuity, dedication, and the sheer power of organized labor on a scale that beggars belief. The mystery began to unravel not with a spaceship, but with a piece of papyrus. Discovered in 2013 at a remote desert harbor on the Red Sea, the Diary of Mirror is the oldest papyrus document ever found. It is the personal logbook of a mid-level official who lived during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, the very ruler for whom the Great Pyramid was built. This wasn't just any document, it was a 4,500-year-old timesheet. Mirror meticulously recorded the daily activities of his crew of about 40 elite workmen. He detailed their journeys from the Tura limestone quarries, across the Nile, and right to the Giza Plateau. His logbook provides a stunningly clear picture of the pyramid's supply chain. He talks about his team transporting massive, high-quality limestone blocks from Tura, the same white casing stones that once made the pyramid gleam like a jewel under the sun. Mirror describes a network of man-made canals, engineered to bring the boats laden with stone almost to the base of the pyramid itself. This solves a major logistical puzzle. How did they move millions of tons of rock across the desert? They didn't. They sailed them. Thanks to Mirror, we can put a human face to this monumental project. We can almost hear the sounds of the quarry, the creak of the wooden boats, and the commands of a manager trying to meet his quota. It's a powerful reminder that behind the legend were real people with real jobs. But moving the stones was only half the battle. The question of how they were lifted into place has puzzled thinkers for centuries. While we don't have a definitive blueprint, archaeological evidence points towards a sophisticated system of ramps. However, a single, long ramp stretching from the ground to the summit is impractical. It would have required more material and labor than the pyramid itself. Instead, it's far more likely they used a combination of ramp systems that evolved as the pyramid grew taller. One prevailing theory suggests an internal ramp, spiraling upwards within the pyramid's core. As each level was completed, a new section of the ramp would be built on top of it, snaking its way to the very top. This would explain the lack of evidence for a massive external ramp. French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin has championed this theory for years, creating detailed 3D models showing how such a ramp could have worked. It would have been a marvel of ongoing construction, with teams working simultaneously on the outer casing and the internal passageway. Another piece of the puzzle involves how they achieved such incredible precision. The base of the Great Pyramid is almost a perfect square, with sides aligning almost exactly to the cardinal directions. This wasn't luck, it was the result of masterful surveying and astronomical observation. The builders likely used the stars, particularly the circumpolar stars that never set below the horizon, to establish a true north. By tracking the rising and setting of a single star and bisecting the angle, they could create a perfectly straight line pointing north-south. For leveling the massive 13-acre base, they probably employed a simple but effective technique. They could have built a network of shallow trenches, filled them with water, and marked the water level. This would create a perfectly flat reference plane across the entire construction site. These techniques, while simple in principle, required immense patience and skill to execute on such a grand scale. They demonstrate a deep understanding of geometry, engineering, and the natural world. It wasn't high-tech lasers, it was high-level human intelligence. So, who are the people performing this back-breaking, highly skilled labor? For centuries, the popular image was of thousands of slaves, toiling under the whip of a merciless pharaoh. This dramatic image, however, is a myth largely popularized by Hollywood. Archaeological discoveries at Giza have completely overturned this notion. Excavations of a nearby workers' village have revealed the true nature of the pyramid builders. These were not slaves, they were skilled Egyptian laborers. The village, which could have housed up to 20,000 people, had bakeries, breweries, and facilities for processing food. The sheer number of bread molds found indicates that a vast amount of food was being produced daily to feed the workforce. This was a well-fed, well-organized team. Analysis of skeletons found in the workers' cemetery shows that these men and women had access to medical care. Healed fractures and even evidence of brain surgery suggest that their well-being was a priority. A sick or injured worker was a loss of a valuable, skilled asset. These were respected members of society, not disposable slaves. Building the pyramid was considered a national project, a form of civil service and religious devotion. Many were likely farmers, who would work on the pyramid during the annual Nile flood when their fields were underwater. The workforce was organized into crews with names like the Drunkards of Menkaure or the Friends of Khufu. This fostered a sense of camaraderie and competition, motivating the teams to work efficiently. They were paid in rations of bread, beverages, and other essentials, a standard form of payment in a non-monetary economy. They lived and worked in a complex, tiered society. There were the quarrymen, the haulers, the masons, the surveyors, and the engineers. Each person had a specific role in a grand, coordinated effort that spanned decades. So, when we look at the Great Pyramid, we shouldn't see the work of aliens. We should see the culmination of human potential. It's a story of meticulous planning by officials like Mirror, brilliant engineering solutions for lifting and alignment, and the collective effort of a proud and dedicated workforce. The Great Pyramid stands not as a monument to impossible technology, but as a monument to what humans can achieve when they work together towards a common, monumental goal. The real story is one of organization, innovation, and the indomitable spirit of the ancient Egyptian people. They didn't need help from the stars. They simply reached for them. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's greatest mysteries, be sure to subscribe to Infinituno for more explorations into the incredible achievements of our past.